Hey guys, this is Yoda, and this video will be a VOD review of a recent dungeon I did on the PTR. It was Atal'Dazar, one of the new old dungeons coming in 10.2. I figure a lot of folks are going to be entering these dungeons for the first time or haven't played them in a long time, so maybe this will be useful for people to freshen up a little bit on these dungeons. So we start off going left. Personally, I think going left is almost always going to be correct, but there are a few mobs in here that are extremely dangerous. So going left has these Juggernauts, these Confessors. Let me wait till the nameplate's separate a bit. So we've got Juggernauts, Confessors, Augurs, and Honor Guards. So the Honor Guards are pretty simple. They just hit the tank. They cast Fervent Strike. Ironically, Fervent Strike is the original Fervent, but they fixed it so it only hits the tank now. These Augurs will spam cast Wildfire, and they have an extremely dangerous move called Fiery Enchant that channels on a Juggernaut, and if it gets even one tick, then the Juggernaut will shoot fire pools everywhere. You know, normally it's not that big a deal, right? You just dodge. However, there's a very crucial part of this pull. You see in the bottom left here, our priest is standing on a platform. These Juggernauts are extremely difficult to fight if you do not have a ranged player standing on impassable terrain. So their main ability is called Merciless Assault. If everyone is in melee, they'll pick the furthest person, which is like this guy on the impassable terrain, and they'll just cancel it. But if someone is not in melee, or you don't have someone doing this, then they'll charge. And if everyone's in melee, like it's pretty much like an insta wipe. You'll see them do it later, but that's why we have some guy up here. And then we also have the Confessor. It casts Mending Word and Bonsomni's Mantle. Mending Word is just a heal, stop it like every other heal. And then Bonsomni's Mantle is a dome which makes everything uninterruptible, which would be a problem with this Augur if these too many wildfires go off, like they're bolts, so they put a debuff, they do a lot of damage. And then obviously if Fire Enchant goes channeled, then the Juggernaut is gonna, like your range will have to jump off this platform, and then the Juggernaut will charge. So we'll see the Juggernaut charge here in this video, I think, if I recall correctly. This is a pretty standard pull. We're not doing any like crazy VDH MDI stuff where we pull like a bajillion packs. These 6 mobs is a pretty normal first pull. Okay, so let me go back here and explain what just happened. So our DH, DHs play their movement build now, right? So our DH dashes out in a sec. See this? He just dashed below like my bars here. And that caused this Juggernaut to target him with Merciless Assault instead of like the healer, right? So this is what happens when something messes up, or if you don't cheese it, okay? So the Juggernaut casts Merciless Assault, like insanely fast cast, the 1 second cast, and then it charges out and cheats the rogue. Look, bang, cheats the rogue. That's like, we were really lucky that that's all it did. Normally that like horrible things can happen for that. If you're cheesing, once the casters are dead, you can kind of just chain. The only real danger in these pulls is the casters, so you just rotate kicks on the Augur, make sure the Confessor doesn't go off, and call it a day, as long as everyone's in melee. So that's the mobs on the left. We'll fast forward a bit. Just chaining a bunch of casters. Alright, so the next pull has Juggernauts, so we pull it back so the range can stand on the spot, as you can see down here. There is technically a spot above these stairs to stand. It's like in one of the flower beds. We chose not to use it, or I don't even think I knew about it yet, so I just pull it back here. Same mobs, really, just 2 Juggernauts, Augur, Confessor, we already went over. And there's this Colossus. So this Colossus is a little bit more difficult. It can become a healer check in higher keys. So on about a 12-second cooldown, he casts Soul Burn. So he's fixating the DH, and he starts draining his health. Basically just use a personal healer, give him some attention, and that's it. Every time a troll dies, it gives him 1 stack of a dispellable buff, which makes him do 10% more damage. So as the pull goes on, he gets stronger unless you like bolster kill him. That was the Fire Enchant cast right there, which I insta-kicked. Yeah, not much more to this pack. This is why going left is so good. As long as you're standing on this platform, these Juggernauts are extremely docile, and then it's just like 2 casters that you kick and 1 guy that just fixates. So it's pretty simple and easy as long as the Juggernauts don't charge. If the Juggernauts charge, or like Fire Enchant starts going off, or Bonsomni's Mantle, then this can quickly become extremely spicy. Fortunately, we didn't have that happen. So yeah, just watch out for that. Then we go up here to the Priestess. There is a Juggernaut in this pull, so we'll be using the cheese spot. The mobs are pretty much the same. We just pull all the mobs back. Fast forward a bit. Okay, so the healer is below. You can kind of see the beams. There's a spot back there. So that makes the Juggernaut not charge. And then there's these mobs are basically just all the same as the previous area. There's these priestesses. When they cast transfusion on you, you're going to want to go into the blood pools. I think the lore is like they're sucking your blood, but then if you take this blood, then your blood becomes tainted and they kill themselves with it. Kind of similar to the boss, to be honest. All right, so that's this pack. Nothing really crazy to talk about. I do this trash with the boss in this run. I don't actually recommend doing this anymore because I think it's kind of inefficient to like not pull the boss and just run down and pull them instead. But the boss is kind of simple, so this is a viable strat. So I run down. It actually takes forever to group these, so yeah, I'm not a fan of this strat anymore. But this is what we did. So we group them. These augers actually won't cast if the tank is in melee. So if you just like walk them over, it's fine. This boss does eventually make you like run around. So that's when you save your interrupts. Like when you're about to go leave melee and pick up pools, that's when you kick them. We pull the boss. This boss has 4 main mechanics. The first one is the spirits. It's going to spawn some spirits, and these spirits are going to go towards the blood pools. So every phase, the boss spawns 5 blood pools. You don't want to eat these blood pools until it's time. It's very important. When she casts transfusion, you can see it coming up like in 13 seconds. She's going to do the same mechanic as the previous priestesses. She's going to like draw blood from everyone, and you all want to have the debuff from the puddle. Once this is like 4 seconds out, you can already get the debuff because the debuff lasts long enough, but don't pick them up insta or like the boss is going to heal. Next mechanic is the Spirits of Gold. He spawns them like once per phase. It spawns and just starts like fixating at the nearest blood puddle. You can play to like just CC these with like blinds or roots. We chose not to do that. We're just kidney and then focus it down. And then as long as it doesn't hit a blood puddle, it's fine. If it's about to reach a blood puddle, you can like quickly yoink it so it doesn't get it. But if it eats a blood puddle, then you only have 4, which means the boss will heal. Then there's Molten Gold, which is just a dispellable debuff. Some little golden balls running around. Don't run into them. It's a damage loss. And Gilded Claws is a buff she puts on herself, which makes her hit the tank really hard. Okay, I'm not sure what that Typhoon was all about. But anyway, we kick the mobs and group up. So you can see she's about to cast Transfusion. We all have the debuff. And then every time she casts, if as long as you didn't mess up the blood mechanic, she loses 25% of her health. So really, you only the goal basically is to kill her in 3 phases. You just do 25% of her health manually, and then transfusion will do the other 75 as long as you don't mess up the blood. If you mess up the blood, then you'll obviously have to do a little bit of extra damage to her, but just don't mess up. It's like a really easy mechanic once you're used to it. All right, so that's the boss. One small thing is like once you get it below 25, like you already know she's gonna die, so you don't need to do any more damage to her. We tried some cheese here where we're gonna like sleep the auger to separate it from the Juggernaut, but it didn't work. It was just beta. We were testing stuff, so you don't have to do this. I wouldn't recommend doing this. Fire Enchant was about to go off, but we insta-kicked, so that's good. Now she's casting Transfusion. I stunned the Merciless Assault because we didn't have anyone standing in a cheese spot. I was a bit late to the pool, so she didn't take a full 25, but she was already kind of low, so she died. I decided to just finish these mobs off because they were like kind of just, I was just testing. They weren't really in the route. Or not meant to be pulled that way. Wait, how did our guy die? I gotta watch this. Oh, he gets assaulted. Okay, so yeah, this is what happens if you don't think about Merciless Assault. If you just go into this poll, if you fight this mob and you are not thinking about Merciless Assault, this will happen to you. Warning. So he starts casting Merciless Assault and he just straight up kills someone. Bang. Look at that. Cheats Evoker, kills DH. These are like some of the best players in the world. If you sleep on this mob, he will kill you. Alright, anyway, onward. We run down. Normally we would fight the 4-pack here, or you could CC it and pull it over here. And we're coming up on our first swords of the dungeon. So These swords, if you remember in BFA, you would snap the swords. So what you would do is the tank would aggro all the swords, tag everything, and then just jump like over here on this platform. The swords would all follow you, and then they couldn't do their leap ability. So they have like a leap, which freaking murders anyone that's not in a cheese spot. And you cheese it by just standing on a platform they can't jump to. Before, you would just like bring the swords somewhere and then they wouldn't jump, but they don't go there anymore. It doesn't work. It has been fixed. So instead, you bring them near a platform that your range will stand on. So that's what I do. Run over, pull everything back. We stand on this platform. We decided like our DH, it's really tough for DH to do damage like while they're in this confined area. So he like blurs, gets PI. I think I'm going to sack him soon also. But yeah, it's really dangerous to do this. Only do this if you like are an overall hound, basically. Yeah, I do end up sacking him even though it was late. So these swords are like jumping like crazy on our melees, doing omega damage while they use even through personals. I wouldn't recommend this strategy. Like if it's a low key on Tyrannical or something, you could probably do it. But normally I would just pull it next to the platform and you damage from up there. All right, this Sky Screamer has a kickable thing. It's a fear. If it goes off, it fears everyone. They did change it from BFA. Before, if you like stopped the cast, it would recast if it wasn't stopped by kick. Now it will not recast it anymore. Well, I'll show the pull here. We grabbed these two birds here that are kind of close to Razan, same mobs from before. Razan doesn't really do that many mechanics, so people like to pull these birds with him a lot because the birds are easy and Razan is easy, so, you know, not too complex, no cognitive overload there. It's good to tank Razan near these stairs. You want to tank him at a spot where it's easy to line of sight, basically, because he's about to cast... Well, he cast Serrated Teeth there, and we used Cauterizing Flame. It was pretty hard to notice. I'll pause it when he's about to do it. Okay, so you see this bleed he put on me? This bleed actually does insane damage, but our comp is pretty freaking good at it, so it's not really a worry for us. So we have Augmentation Evoker with Cauterizing Flame. They get every other. So he's going to caught this one, then I Dwarf next, then caught, then Bubble, then caught, then like the fifth one, or the fourth one we have to like, or maybe like the sixth one. I think it's like the sixth one we actually have to heal through, so hopefully the boss is dead by then. Anyway, we caught that, and then he's going to do his fear. Be careful with this overlapping with the kick. You just LOS the fear. Very simple. The next thing he does is pursuit. So he targets a guy. Look, he targets the rogue here. You can bait this technically by having two people stand out at range, but like our comp makes that kind of hard. I guess technically the priest and the evoker could do it, but they didn't. So he targets the rogue. If he starts walking at you, and if he is anywhere near you, like in the same dimension, I think it's like 20 yards, then you go in his teeth and you will die unless you get bopped. Our rogue happens to have vanish, so you wait if you're vanishing it, you wait for the cast to finish, then you vanish. So cast finishes, boom, vanish, done. And that's the boss pretty much. Don't get eaten by pursuit. If you want, there's a tactic you can do. You can choose not to immune a pursuit, and like if you want to move the boss, let's say to another corner, you can just pre-position there. He fixates someone, then he just walks there on his own during pursuit. It is definitely a damage loss because, you know, whoever he picks is going to be doing low damage while they're running away. But if you need to move him, it's fine. Also, like, not every group is going to have cheeses to get around the pursuit, so if you have to walk him, you have to walk him, you know? Here I bop the evoker, so he gets devoured, but he takes no damage. He was like kind of far too, you guys saw that. Alright, anyway, boring boss, we fast forward. Oh, we actually end up walking him all the way over here, unfortunately. This is not ideal. You don't want to end over here if you can avoid it. Like, our comp didn't have that many cheeses, so we did end up here, but ideally you want to end near one of these stairs so you don't have to walk like through the pit after the boss. I think we were trying some tactic here. Yeah, see, our group is running on the other stairs, and I'm going this way. I was going to bring the swords up and then meet them at a snap spot, but like it doesn't exactly go as planned. These swords are insanely dangerous. Just be careful around them, or like fight 5-5-5 probably in a pug. We actually try to fight 15 at a time here. So yeah, they messed up skipping here and they ninja pulled this. So, you know, hero tank that I am, here we go. Throw shield, get aggro and everything, DH nether walks. And then I pulled them over here. You can see our range standing on this platform, so the swords won't jump to them. Now, basically, the strat is our DH pops every person in the game, gets PI, and kills the swords. I think I'm going to sack him too, probably. Yeah, I sack him, he blurs, gets PI, dome, and then he pops everything. Our rogue tries to do the same and just dies instantly through cheat. Nice mobs. So yeah, we just pop every cooldown in the game on the DH and he kills it all. Very good. Obviously, if you're a mage, you just freaking sit over here. If you're not a melee, you can literally just sit on this platform and free DPS. Just make sure the swords are actually in LOS. Like, if you've tanked them here, then this torch will block their LOS. Okay, so we finished these mobs. There is an invisible mob near the beginning, which we're about to run into. I think while they were ninja pulling or something, or someone was running back, they pulled this. So this invisible stalker just freaking headshot our priest. Good time to talk about this mob. I don't like this mob was changed since BFA, so he has 2 moves now. One is the venomous strike, which he just hits the tank with. It's a poison that's dispellable. Then he also casts Fan of Knives, which just does damage to the whole group. He's going to cast it pretty soon after the Hodge. So this is Hodge, and then he casts Fan of Knives. It has no cast time, and it just chunks the whole group. So, like, imagine fighting multiple of these plus the honor guards. No thank you. Okay, so we just finished that guy off because we pulled him by accident. I think we do a tactic here. Yeah. So we shroud past these. Remember how before, like, our DH had to jump off and fight on this ground, and the ranger standing there? That's not actually an ideal situation. The ideal situation is you want to be on like one of these. This spot is way better than this spot, because if you're standing here, then your melee can kind of just DPS like from here to here, but they cannot DPS from here to here. So it's better to fight the swords on using this cheese spot, which is why we shroud past, and then we come back later when this area is clear to fight the swords here, if that makes sense. All right, these mobs haven't really changed much. The witch doctors have a spammable venom blast, and they cast Hex. Just make sure you kick. I'm a paladin, so like I'll kick this one, you guys kick this one, but you know, different groups, different strats, right? There are 2 invisible stalkers here, and they do cast Fan of Knives, which makes this pull a little bit more difficult than before. Since it was already a hard pull in the past, like we've been lusting this. You don't always have to, but yeah. These shield bearers cast a tank hit and Bulwark of Zool. The Bulwark is like 90% damage reduction or something, so make sure you are on top of stopping that. Knocks don't work. You need to stun or disorient or blind. Or shackle and dead or whatever. Okay, so that's this pack. Nice and easy. We turn around and kill the swords. Technically, you could do this after the boss, but we just do it now, like whatever. We're going to ignore the fact that I just pulled this like a complete clown. All right, so then our rogue decides, or this is like close enough so the rogue can just stand up here. He is completely safe. The DH, I think you technically could be up here, but whatever, you know, we can send all of our personals on one guy, or externals, and he just lives. Same strat as before. Next is Vol'kaal. By the way, they changed this pack. Hold on. This pack in front of Vol'kaal. We'll see it soon. Yeah. So this used to have 2 honor guards, and now it just has 1. But these honor guards are so bad for count. Like, he has 14.7 mil. This witch doctor has 11. They're worth the same count. And on top of that, you have to kill this totem before you can touch him. Then on top of that, he just pulses AoE damage to everyone and also bleeds your tank. So these mobs are complete trash. And like, the witch doctor was already not a great mob. All right, anyway, on to Vol'kaal. This guy has not changed at all, I don't think. He has 3 moves. The Toxic Jump, which he does in P1. The Noxious Stench, which puts a disease on everyone. You need to kick that, by the way. If you don't kick, like, this disease goes up to 2 stacks and then just like GG. So make sure you kick. It's every 3 jumps for 1 kick. What the hell happened there? Okay, and then in this phase, I think that was invisible. Hold on, I want to see that again. Oh, yeah. See, look. Our Evoker was mid-deep breath, so he Toxic Leaps, targeting the Evoker, and it's invisible. So don't jump if you can help it against this boss, I guess. So yeah, this actually gets us good here. Boom. Completely invisible, just slams us. Okay, anyway, the next mechanic is these totems. There's 3 of them. They need to die at the same time. So once one hits 0 health, it starts casting Reanimate. I believe that lasts 8 seconds. If the cast finishes and any totems are alive, then that totem full heals. So it's like a bit of group coordination to kill these. The way we usually do it is like tank plus AUG plus healer hit 1, and then 1 other DPS on each. Make sure you are kicking Noxious Stench. It's good for melees to stand like on the inner ring here, so that the healer can heal you more easily. If you have a Disease Dispel, you can also help out the healer. Like every time you cast that, if your healer's in trouble, you can just dispel someone. This was like kind of easy for us, so I didn't bother. I think Disc is actually really, really good on this fight. Okay, so once he's dead, he starts dropping these poison pools everywhere, every now and then on players. So you just kite him around the room. He still has the kick, so it's kind of like, this is kind of like just like a rot fight. You can see everyone's just rotting from the disease. Disc is really good at this, so I didn't see the need to dispel him. I like asked and he was like, nah, we're chilling, so fuck it. No need to dispel. And you just go around the ring. One thing to note, the mobs, hold on, I'll fast forward a bit. Where are we? I want to catch something. Okay, so these mobs across the gate, some abilities can pull them. I don't really have a complete list, but it's good to just avoid these. You won't run out of space if you cut towards the middle like this. So just, you do a little circle around the arena, but you don't tank them right next to this, or something bad could possibly happen. I don't really know exactly what pulls, but just be safe. Don't fight near there. It's also good practice because, like, if the boss is dying, you don't want to go over there and then when the gate falls. People are actually kind of dying here. The rogue cheated. That's interesting. This poop does a lot of damage, by the way. Don't stand in that. Okay. Kill the boss. Imprison to get out here. Then the last boss. If you want to do Trasher, you could have someone start RP and turn around. This kind of takes a while. Alright. Someone died on the stairs. Lag, of course. Watch out for these spiders. They will one-shot you. Also, on to Yazma. I don't think this boss has really changed. She has 4 mechanics, I guess. So 1 is the kick. Just kick. If it goes on someone, it puts a curse that does some damage. That's really it. She has a tank hit called Skewer. Doesn't do that much damage. Like, just use something. Then the main dynamic here is every 40 seconds or so, she casts Soul Rend. It does a lot of damage. This is like a one-shot on high keys, so make sure you have a personal ready or some way to not get one-shot. And then these little ads will walk towards her. If one hits her, it puts in a group-wide dot for 20 seconds. If like multiple hit, then it stacks up, so try to kill these. It's not a bad idea to save burst AoE, because if these are alive, then it makes the fight take longer. So if these die quick, it's good. The first ones to fight usually die pretty quickly. You just drop these away and then burst them down, hopefully, and then kite away. If your group doesn't kill them quickly, the tank will have to kite like a lot, which is kind of not good for damage. She periodically will spawn these spiders, which is called Echoes of Shradrath, near players. Make sure she's ideally in a corner when she spawns them. Here, like, I can see Echoes is coming up and then Soul Rend, right? So I wait for her to cast Echoes, then I drag her to where I want my group to drop the Soul Rend. That's ideally how you would do it. These spiders periodically also become big and fixate. When they're small, they're just walking around like idiots, and when they're big, they fixate you. So yeah, I have my group drop on the stairs here. You can use any convention. Like, I like to do stairs and King's Rest. Some groups like to do corners. It's kind of just whatever. Usually it's just YOLO, to be honest. If you have like range DPS, they're really good at killing these ads, but ideally you just burst them down. Like, save some kind of burst cooldown, like I-Beam or Vanish or something, so that they die really quick. And that's kind of just the boss. You kite her around in a circle, drop off Soul Rends. Hopefully they don't hit the boss. In fact, if you're the tank, make sure they don't hit the boss. If you're a DPS, save some burst. As a paladin here, I'm saving Divine Toll for every set. Well, I guess it's every other set. You can't have it for every set. Here I wings, and then as soon as they spawn, bang, Divine Toll. That might have been... Actually, that was really early. Never mind, I messed up. But ideally, you just use it when they spawn. Alright, so we're kiting the boss around in a circle, and that is the whole boss. Alright, So that is going to be the first of hopefully 8 dungeon reviews. Thanks everyone for watching. Let me know if this is something that people are interested in. I have done like every PTR key or every key on the PTR like many times, I guess, compared to most people. So maybe I can give some information here. Yeah. So if you like this, let me know somewhere, comments or whatever. And that's all. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by Twitch chat, and I'll see you later.